So I think I love that you want to shoot high, 4 to 5 with really good contact. I think that what we could do today, I think I've got a pretty good improvement strategy that would help you to have that better contact. So let me just show you really quickly.
Okay.
So one of the things that's happening, and I'm going to use the stick just to show you.
Okay.
And then, so the idea here is I'm going to stand on the stick because if I don't, it's going to like pop on the ground. But really all it is that you talked about path today. But on the backswing there, when the club comes down, there's a descent, right? And so what's happening is that you're hitting the ground early, okay? So on the descent, we want to hit the ball, and the low end of the arc would be in front of the ball. Does that make sense? So you're just hitting on the descent, you're hitting the ground first, and then the club is coming up on the ascent.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the reason for that, let me show you why that's happening, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and put down, you use sticks, right? Do you?
Yeah, on the range.
Right, for alignment. I mean, it's a really good thing to use. So I'm going to go ahead and set down 2 sticks for direction, okay? And for path.
Yeah.
All right. So can I borrow your club and show you? Okay, so come stand over here so you can see. So one of the things that I noticed about your hitting the ground is kind of what you already said, your path. You've been working on your path. And so I think that your path, what's happening is that when the club goes back on the inside, the bottom of the swing arc, when it comes down, it hits it comes down and hits the ground a little early. So I think that what our strategy today would be to use the track and try to feel like that when we take the club back, it's the club is not going to the inside so quick. All right, and you can use this kind of as direction, so that what I like to do is when you put this club in here, just see if you can move this same swing, everything the same, but see if you can keep the club kind of moving in the track back and forth a little bit longer. Okay, instead of just getting the club to go a little bit, your path going a little bit inside and out. See if we can keep the path kind of on a nice little arc back and forth, okay? So why don't you show me that? Yes. And we'll use the ball because I think it's really important because to keep working on the contact like you said, okay? So let's use the ball because we're really trying to focus on that good contact.
Trying to go here.
That's correct. So let me see that again. Yeah. So you can, does the track give you some visual idea?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so not going as in.
Yeah, so that would be correct. So instead of like, if this is a direction here, think a little bit on your backswing, you're kind of moving this way too soon. Does that make sense? Okay, so if this is the direction we're headed, see if you can feel like you're taking this club on a path that's a little bit more on the target line. Do you know what I'm saying about target line?
Yes.
Okay. How'd that feel?
It felt good.
Okay. And so tell me, is this something that you like? You said visual.
Yeah.
Can this kind of help you?
I think it could help me. I could add it in my practice.
Right. Okay. That's a really good idea. So why don't you go ahead and hit a couple for practice?
Okay.
See if you can get a feel of that path where it feels like it's moving back and forth in that track. Yep. Well, that sounded good. Yeah. Did that sound good to you?
Yes.
Was that contact good?
Yes.
Okay, so that contact was good. Let's try that again. Okay, good job. So let's do, so what I want to say is I think let's talk about the practice and how you can use this little drill to help you with your contact. So I would say that you could use this drill when you're practicing and maybe start out for the first 5 to 10 minutes using your rods.
Okay.
Hitting some shots and just really focusing on that path. Okay? Path and just, again, just the path and just, same form, but just path, all right? Same technique, but just really focus in more of this direction that you're moving this golf club in motion back and forth, okay? So you're starting, everything that you're doing looks really good to me. Your setup looks good. So all that pre-motion stuff, the setup looks great. So I think that just again focusing on that. Does that sound like something that okay?
Yeah.
So 5 to 10 minutes, and then what you do is you take the rods away, right? And then at that point, go ahead and then do your practice. Okay, go ahead and hit some shots to different holes, right?
Give me like a warm up.
Right, and it's kind of like, you know, you already said to me that you're like 8 to 10. You want to get up and down 8 out of 10 times. Continue to do that. All right. We said today inside 6 feet. Is that something that would you agree upon that would be something
Yeah,
that would
that's
be really
something
good?
reachable.
Okay. So today I saw 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see if we can get that 4 out of 5. All right.
Okay.
Let's try that. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Now you've already worked on it, so here we go.
Same flag. Yes.
Is that okay? Let's go the same direction since we've already.
Okay.
How was that?
I like that.
Okay, that looked really
About
good.
3 feet.
Okay, good job.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so, yep, continue on. So the direction looked good. What about the contact?
I feel like it was a bit on top this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I thought the path looked pretty good to me there, and so let's just try that again. Okay.
Yeah, it was straight.
Yeah. So direction looked good. Okay, good one. What about that?
It's almost in.
Yeah, good shot.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's going well.
Okay, a few more. Okay, good job.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. And so what I would say to you on there, again, we'll use those sticks. It looked a little bit inside on the back, so that
Yeah.
path again,
I have to
okay?
be remind
Right? And but
myself
here's the thing that, you know, for what your goal, like, again, just keep doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And just trust that, you know, that you're going to get that ball inside that 6 feet that we talked about.
Alrighty. Here it goes.
Okay. So on this one, we got 3 out of 5. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So we got 1 better. That's 1 better,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's really important to, you know, always pick that positive to that. Don't you agree? So that's 1 better than we started. And I think that in order to reach the goal that you want to do you like your improvement strategy? Do you think that
Yeah.
maybe working 5 to 10 minutes on the stick?
I definitely have to work on it,
Yes.
and then I can improve a bit more.
Yes.
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 That was very helpful.
Okay. All right. Then I'll tell you what. Why don't you try to do that? If you need help, I'm around.
Okay.
Like, why don't you try to continue with that, working on that path, use that improvement strategy, using your rods, and then maybe I can see you sometime next week, and
Yeah.
we can kind of see how you're going at that point.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
All right, it was
sounds
nice to
good.
meet you, Dara. Okay, take care. Okay. Hi, I'm Coach
Hi.
Susie.
Nice to meet you.
And you are, I'm sorry?
I'm Dyra.
Hi, Dara. And what brings you here today, Dara?
I'm from the Woodlands High School. I want to play college golf, and I just want to improve.
Okay, that's great. That's really good. And so you say you want to improve. What are we going to be working on today? What would you like? How would you like to use your time with me today?
I want to work on my contact because I've been hitting it before, and I want to improve that contact
Okay, so is this something that you've been noticing when you're
Yeah.
playing?
out there in the tournaments.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about your golf history, though. Can you give me a little bit of background? Tell me about your golf history, because I don't know anything about you. And today,
Yeah.
you're playing on a high school team, so give me a little bit of golf history.
Okay. Well, when I arrived to the Woodlands, I used to have my swing used to be not good at all. And I used to have this incredible draw like
Okay.
all the time.
You're kind of showing me your. Is this like a path thing?
Inside.
Oh, okay.
So then I worked on it, and now I've improved, but
Okay.
I still need to improve a bit more.
Okay. And can you tell me, have you worked with a lot of different coaches?
Yes.
Okay, and so and you've kind of tell me a little bit more about the different coaches, and so the coach that you're working with now or most recent, what have you been working on most recent?
Most recently, we've been working on path,
Okay,
using our light sticks
okay.
to improve the path.
I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good drill for you to do that. Okay, and then and you play on the high school team now, and so and today you kind of wanting to work with me. You talked about some contact. So are we working more on your full swing or short game? What are we working on?
Short game.
Okay, short game. And then tell me a little bit more about short game. So what club do you have in your hand?
I have my pitching wedge.
Okay, can I take a look at it? And have these clubs? Have you had these fit before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and how long ago was that when you had these clubs fit?
2 years.
2
and a
years.
half.
And have you grown or anything since then?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yes.
And do they still look good on the ground when you put them down?
Yeah, they feel comfortable.
Okay, so can I just take a look at it
Yeah.
just to see? And is this your setup? So this would be your setup. Is this your setup in your chipping or your full swing?
My chipping.
Okay, so let me have a look at that.
All right.
Okay, so that looks pretty good. The club looks like, can I show you real quick? Usually if the club is too long, right?
Mhm.
And if it's too long, what'll happen if you put the club on the ground, you see how that maybe the heel would be sitting on there? Are you familiar with the heel and the toe
Mhm.
and all that? So,
Yes.
so that club looks like it fits pretty good to you, right? And I'm glad that you got it fit. And so that is really important, so that it really works on, again, just the bottom of the club, you know, the way that it hits the turf, the ground, and also the idea of if it's, you know, the lie angle. Do you know what I mean
Yeah.
by lie angle? If it's too up or if it's too flat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah,
And-
that also has to do if it's going a bit up or down.
Right, so tell me about that. So the short game today, what shot are you going to use this pitching wedge for? What are we going to work on? Are we what distance?
Just a regular 30-yard shot, 20-yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and you're familiar with like a chip shot and a pitch shot? Are we working on a chip shot? Do you know what that means, like in a chip shot?
No, will you explain?
Yeah, okay. So a chip shot is more a shot that has more roll, less air time, and more roll. Okay, so I think of something like when you hit a chip shot, it's more of a shot that, by definition, it's more roll time than air time.
Okay.
And then a pitch shot is more air time and less roll time. Okay, so that club actually can work for a chip or a pitch, but we'll take a look at it. And before we kind of get started, I know you want to work on your short game. Do you have any physical limitations or any aches or pains in your body?
Not at all.
Okay, all right, that's good. And then, so the other thing I would ask you is, I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but see, I don't know
okay.
you.
Yeah.
And in order for me to help you, I got to kind of get to know you so that I kind of understand, you know, because you have a golf history, right? You play on the high school team.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that I can really understand you, kind of get to know you a little bit, and make sure I'm really helping you, okay?
Perfect.
The other thing I want to ask you is warm-up. Do you do a dynamic warm-up when you go out to practice?
I stretch.
Okay. Do you want to show me maybe one thing that you do so I can
Sure. I go like this.
see? Okay.
And I do with my fingers like that.
Okay, good. That looks dynamic.
Some circles.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Sometimes
okay.
I grab my club and probably I go down
Okay.
and then I do this.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's how
And I think it's really important to make sure that you kind of do that
Yeah.
in a movement, right? Like when you say stretching, I think kind of a dynamic warm up, so you're kind of moving the body and you're not really kind of holding the stretch. Maybe I think golf is very dynamic. You use every muscle and joint in your body. I love all this that you showed me. That was great. So I kind of do some arm circles, some forwards and backwards, right? And then one of my favorites that I think that really helps is some heel stomps and some arm pumps. Can we try to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is getting your setup, so getting your posture, a little bit of that hip hinge, arms out to the side, kind of maybe pistol grips, and we'll do some heel stomps and maybe just kind of arm pumps. So just kind of stomp your feet and then pump your arms. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And we'll do that for about 10 seconds. And try to go as quick as you can. There you go, good. Good. There you go.
You're really good at this. I can't.
Well, I've been doing that a while. I kind of think it's really good to activate kind of the neural system in your body. Okay, good job. Just shake it out. Okay, so good. I'm glad that you do that. So I just want to reiterate, that's a good thing that you're doing. So please keep that up. I think that, again, it just kind of, it gets you ready for what you want to do.
I agree. Like
right?
stretching is so important.
So important. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Dara, your goals, like tell me a little bit, you're playing the high school team, what are your goals? What's your long-term goal?
Well, right now, short term is play college golf. I have 1 year. Long term is playing the LPGA tour.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Do you know about how much time you dedicate to this game? What do you think on a week?
I just know it's a very, on a week?
Yeah.
I practice every single day.
Okay.
Probably one day I take off.
Okay. So rest day.
Rest day.
Okay, that's good. I think
try
it's important.
to play as much as I can. Even sometimes the course is wet, and sometimes hit balls and do some drills.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So it sounds like, you know, that today you really just want me to come in, just to take a look at that 30-yard shot that you talked about. You've got your pitching wedge, and just look at the contact. Would that be right for today's goal?
Yeah, because I want to improve my short game. I want to get more up and downs, because sometimes my scoring, I want to improve. With those up and downs, I think I can.
And what are you shooting? What are your scores?
Right now, my best scores have been 76, 77.
Okay.
My goal right now is to go below 76.
Okay, and how many up and downs are you getting shooting 76 and 77?
It really depends on the day. If I was in green regulations, but like sometimes I play a game where I play 10 holes.
Yes.
And sometimes I don't get 8 out of 10.
Yes.
I get 6. So
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got a good practice kind of game that you use, and your goal there is to get 8 out of 10, and you've been getting about 6. Okay. All right. So close, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me take a look at your chipping.
Okay.
Right today, and see how you're going. Maybe I can just kind of get an idea of what you're doing. I'm gonna kind of watch you from the front and to the back here target side.
Yeah.
Can you pick a target that you want to go to? Show me the distance that you want to work on today.
Should we go to that hole?
Sure. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give you a few balls.
All right.
So go ahead and do your thing. Do what's comfortable for you.
Okay.
So I'm just here, just observing, just watching. Okay. So how was that?
I closed the face because I wanted to roll
Okay.
a bit more.
Okay. And the contact for you, what was that like?
It felt it can be better.
A little bit better? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a
Okay,
look.
let's see.
Okay, what does that feel like to you?
Sometimes I hit the ground first.
Okay, before the ball a
Yeah,
little bit?
before the ball a little bit.
Okay, so let me just keep watching. Can you tell me a
Okay.
little bit more about kind of what you're doing and your kind of your form here a little bit? Tell me. What's it?
Usually when it's a longer shot, I like to close the face. I don't know if that's okay, but like, and when it's shorter, I like to open it a bit.
Okay.
So, here we go. That
Okay.
one.
Was that looked like
That
good?
was a bit better
Good
than the last
contact?
one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me just step around and look
Okay.
from here. So I'll do a couple more. So what's the contact there? What'd that
I
feel
hate-
like?
It wasn't as solid as the last one.
Okay.
Hit before again.
Okay. All right. And maybe one more.
Yeah. Okay, one more.
So let me ask you a question. Like, I'm looking at these shots. You got 5 shots up there. Can you kind of give me an idea of kind of your proximity? Does that look like that's kind of normal, or is that what you kind of been doing lately? Or I see you've got 2 close ones,
Yeah.
and you have 3 that are probably outside,
Yeah.
maybe 10 feet.
So it's that consistency. Like
Oh.
I'm not as consistent as I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we walk over here real quick
Sure.
and show me what would be, by looking at this, what would make you happy, right? Like if we're gonna get our ball up and down,
Yes.
what would we need to, like, what would be good for you out of these 5 balls? Can you show me a distance that would be good for you?
Yeah, maybe 4 feet.
Okay, 4 feet.
4 feet.
Okay. All right. So 4 feet. Go ahead and let me use your club real quick. So 4 feet, we're looking at something that's just outside, kind of the 1 club length, right?
Yeah.
So somewhere in here. And you know, Dara, I think that's a really great goal because really, you know, kind of, I know that you're talking about college golf, but to have a goal of something like 4.2 feet is proximity, the distance would be kind of what the tour professional is doing.
Yeah.
And I would say that in order to shoot that kind of lower 70s, I would say definitely if you could try to get that ball inside 6 feet,
Yeah.
it would give you that better chance to get that ball up and down, and then that consistency. So it looks like you've only got 2 out of the 5 today as your baseline. So if I did see one thing that we could work on, what goal out, if this is 2 to 5, what would make you happy today if we had an improvement strategy, you think?
Maybe 4 out of 5.
4 or 5, yeah, you gotta shoot high, right? I mean, we wanna shoot low.
Yeah.
We wanna set our sights up there so that we can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.